Hey guys, how's it going? Hopefully, some people will pop in the chat today. So, welcome to my channel. I am Michael Ehline. I am a natural rights law attorney. I've got over 20 years in practice as a lawyer in California and Texas. I have my experience in appellate law, is where I got my start. I was a judicial extern for the Second District Court of Appeal, without the S, state court in California. I've worked for the prosecutor's office at the LA City Attorney Criminal Prosecution Division. I've done criminal defense, Second Amendment rights, civil rights involving police shootings and tight handcuff cases involving amputations and nerve damage. But my love is the Second Amendment and natural law, because all of our rights come from an all powerful creator, not the state, much to the chagrin of the Soviet Socialist Republic of Gavin Newsom's California. And so, whenever I post a video about government surveillance or Julian Assange or Snowden or abolishing the Federal Reserve banking system, within days I'll get a warning notice from CommieTube that my channel will be demonetized or I did something wrong, etc., etc. And I have the right to appeal, but they won't tell you what you did wrong, of course. So I'm starting to expand out into other channels and other platforms that offer freedom of speech without political censorship, which I believe is in violation of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. So that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop streaming to my friends over at YouTube. But if you were going to donate to me, I would appreciate it if you would donate to me on Patreon or Rumble. And if you look in the streamer, let me make sure it's going. Make sure that streamer's going. There we go. Look in the streamer there, and you can see those are my channels. Now on Patreon and Rumble, on Rumble in particular, which is closest to YouTube, you can do the same thing that you could do with a super chat on YouTube. But remember, when you donate to someone on YouTube, you're splitting that money with someone who is probably politically disconnected to you and your beliefs. Because the people in my channel believe that less government means more freedom. So I'm just looking to see if anybody's joined me yet today in the stream. So far, I don't see anybody in the stream talking to me. Give me some 5x5s if anybody is there. It says that there's about 11 people so far that have joined me today. So if somebody can just go into the live chat and let me know that you're here and that you can hear me, then I'll start my process. So typically, because I practice law between 10 to 14 hours a day, and I'm constantly working, it's been very difficult for me to go live this week. So what I try and do is when I take my son to judo, I'll try to live stream from my car. And today I'm driving to the gym to get a workout in. So on the way to the gym, we're going to talk about Rhode v. Bonta. Bonta being the Attorney General of the state of California, another far left radical Attorney General who doesn't think that we, the people, should have the right to keep and bear arms, right? But they say that, oh no, you can have them as long as you go through this draconian process of trying to get your hands on them. And so just really quickly, hopefully you guys can still see me. I just need to look at my notes really fast. All right. So just give me 1 second. So basically, the way this works is, and many of you may or may not know, hey, good seeing you. Nice. Good seeing you, Mr. Junior Wedge 2. And Mr. Junior Wedge 2, please make sure to go and like and subscribe to my channel over at Rumble. And if you want to donate to me, you can donate to me over there. So basically, I'm friends with Dick Heller of DC versus Heller, and that is the seminal case on firearms law rights in this country. And it basically repeats and and sort of recognizes what we already knew, that under natural law, we the people have the right to keep and bear arms. That's all Heller really does, that it's a unalienable right. And automatically the Marxists in the judiciary, and especially in the single party Soviet Socialist Republic of California, started trying to pass laws to circumvent the Heller case. And as a result, the Bruen case came out. And what Bruen basically says, there has to be a historical analog to justify this law that you want to pass to restrict people's right to keep and bear arms. And by the way, give me a bunch of ones if you agree that firearms laws aren't obeyed by criminals. So the only thing that firearms laws do is restrict we, the people, from being able to defend our homes and hearths. Education is the key. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree that we should be having firearms instruction in schools and that our young boys should be taught how to respect their elders and how to handle and properly manipulate and clean a firearm. Well, that's right, Mr. Junior Wedge 2. Just go head over to Rumble, man. I'm going to get all my audience over there. And eventually, when this channel gets demonetized, you can still donate to me over there. And at least you'd be sharing the proceeds with a company that respects the right of free speech and I believe is in compliance with Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, as well as Patreon. The only way we're going to change the system is to create parallel systems and leave these Marxist, leftist controlled social media sites and go somewhere where we're appreciated. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So again, you can look at my streamer if you want to go ahead and add me. So the Bruen case says there has to be a historical analog to pass these laws. So I've got good news. California passed a 1 in 30 law. A lot of people may not know what that means, but the 1 in 30 law, and I'm going to start driving. All right, so I'm headed over to the gym, guys. For those of you just joining me, I am a member of the bar in California and Texas, and I'm a natural law rights attorney. And I believe that all of our rights come from our creator, not from the state. Much are the ones who have the right to decide. So now, individual rights are a tricky thing because people who believe in democracy believe that the majority should be able to vote away your rights. That's what democracy is. America is a constitutional republic. And what that means is that the government is bound by the chains of the Constitution. So the 1 in 30 law was a law that California passed that said you can only buy one firearm every 30 days. Like somehow that's going to stop crime. When a criminal can just go steal a gun from someone's home, or can rob you to steal your gun, or can just get one on the street, as many as they want every day, or just get it from one of Biden's 20 million illegals that just marched across the border, the law-abiding citizen can't do that or couldn't do that in California. So that went up to a 3-judge panel. And my understanding is a unanimous 3-judge panel at the Ninth Circuit agreed with my friends that that is unconstitutional. There's no historical analog to support that. And I believe that the California Attorney General realized that he wasn't going to get anywhere with that. They could just pass some other stupid draconian law to try and backdoor and keep preventing you from bearing arms. Well, they hold it up in litigation. That's what California does. So that's a win for us. And you can thank people like the California Rifle and Pistol Association and donate to them if you believe in the right to keep and bear arms and you still live in the communist state of California. But if you fled the state and you're still working to try and uphold natural law, because remember, the Bill of Rights is not where our rights come from. The Bill of Rights is some of our rights that many of our founding fathers felt that we needed to list, just to remind the government that we have natural rights. But the Bill of Rights are absolutely not all the rights that we have. So now somebody give me a comment or something because nobody said anything. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys like what I'm saying so far. So the Bill of Rights, again, are not all the rights that we have. And the Bill of Rights were not granted to us by the government. The Bill of Rights come from natural law. And it is a battle, basically, still never ending, the battle between kings and free men. And John Locke supported free men, and Hobbes supported the king, a highly centralized government that gets to control your thoughts and your actions. And we don't believe that at Team MPE. We believe in the unencumbered right to keep and bear arms at any and all costs. Thanks for the ones, guys. Now, again, for those of you who support free speech and don't want to get censored, you can join me over at Rumble. I'm live streaming now over at Rumble at Michael Ehline. And I encourage all of you who want to donate to me, you can donate to me the same way you donate with super chats over at Rumble that you can do at YouTube. But you won't be sharing the money with people over at Mountain View who don't support what we believe in at Team MPE. So, in any event, the Bruen decision basically says there's got to be some kind of historical precedent for this gun law. And so we know that the Democrats are always trying to pass gun laws that comport us with England and other socialist communist countries who want to disarm their populations and prevent them from being able to defend their families, as well as preventing their ability to have free speech, because you can't protect the First Amendment without the Second. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree with that. You're in Northern California. Well, hey, look, man, there's always a chance you can flee the state if you believe in homeschooling and homesteading and you believe in freedom. I think one of the smartest moves you could ever make would be to flee communist Fornia as soon as you can. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys agree with that. So, in any event, the Rhode v. Bonta. So Rhode is a woman who is a professional shooter. And the law basically was, because communist Fornia brainwashes people, their citizens, starting with the public school system, to hate our founding fathers and our way of life as Americans. And they use illegal aliens to pick up congressional seats by using sanctuary cities and then counting them in the census to pick up by what most people believe would be 5 additional House seats. If the illegal aliens were deported from California, California would become a red state again. So we know that the Democrats flooded the country with over 20 million illegal aliens to try and use the census to turn the entire country blue. And they do that by flooding sanctuary states where the federal government does not get cooperation from local law enforcement laws. So that's how they do it. And we know that the current administration is fighting that, and they're trying to do a new census that does not count illegals for purposes of it. They would still be counted as a body count, but they wouldn't be counted for purposes of helping a certain political party pick up more House seats. That's all it really is. But let's get back on track. So, Rhode basically came about as a result of an initiative. I believe it's Prop 51, but you can correct, where the people of California decided to vote to deprive themselves of the ability to buy ammo unless they underwent a background check every time they purchased ammo. So it basically, when I could buy, 22 rounds for a half a penny or a penny a round back in the day, it made it go up to like 25 cents a round, because now you're paying this ammo tax. You're forcing the gun dealer to become a tax collector. You're forcing them to store ammo for you until you pass the background check. And there were all these false positives, even police officers who are not passing the background check. It's just unbelievable. So what happened is the California Rifle and Pistol Association and a couple of really great Second Amendment rights attorneys decided they were going to fight it. They went up to the Ninth Circuit, and we got a 2-3 panel, 2-3 in favor of rejecting that stupid law. Now, the reason why it happened is because this woman named Rhode is a professional shooter. And so she travels all around the country and she competes in shooting competitions. And like me, when I go to the range, I'll probably shoot off several thousand rounds, depending on the day and how my trigger finger feels. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys know what I'm talking about. It gets painful after a while. She allowed to bring that ammunition that she bought maybe in Arizona back into California if she didn't shoot it all off. So she had to leave it there, give it away, or ship it at her own expense to a California firearms dealer and have it, and then pay for them to store it there. Can you believe this nonsense these commies are pulling on us? Pay them to store it there at a fee until she can prove that she passed the background check to buy ammunition. It's just so stupid. But the three-judge panel at the leftist Ninth Circuit rightly decided. There was one Democrat judge on there who disagreed that no, there's no historical analog to support this law, and they rejected it. And so right away, that injunction was overturned because people were enjoined from buying ammunition unless they passed a background check, paid this outrageous ammo tax. Just stupid. And so what happened is people just started buying ammo like crazy because the law had been overturned, started getting it shipped. Then, of course, California's leftist Marxist Department of Justice stepped in and stopped it, and they're appealing. So that's the bad news. They're appealing, and they're trying to go en banc. Now, en banc, just for you people who don't know, that means the full panel. In other words, all the Democrat judges at the Ninth Circuit get to rehear the case. And of course, we already know what's going to happen there. They're going to say, no, this is crazy. The people voted for this. The people who've been brainwashed at childbirth to think that boys are girls and girls are boys and that our alternative lifestyles that we forced on them are normal, right? You guys understand what I'm saying? So it's what's probably going to happen in the Rhode case is the full panel is more likely than not going to side against the three-judge panel. So far we've got one victory, and that victory is the 1 in 30 law has been overturned. The DOJ is not appealing that. Obviously, that violated the Bruen case. There's no historical analog to refuse someone from buying more than one firearm a month. It's just stupid, right? Give me a bunch of ones that you agree. It's just stupid. So what they are going to do is they're going to try to make up a bunch of stupid analogs about gunpowder storage and that, well, since American Indians weren't allowed to buy ammo unless they had approval from the government, that means there's a historical analog. It's the people that were British citizens who we were at war with weren't allowed to buy ammo without a background check, right? If the enemies of the United States weren't allowed to buy firearms, well, then we have a historical analog. So California pretty much let it slip that they consider anybody who wants to buy a firearm or keep and bear arms is an enemy of California. They basically admitted that by citing the case law that they're citing. So think about that if you still live in communist California, guys. I would move as soon as possible. So that's why I'm slowly migrating over to Rumble and Patreon, because I realize that my channel's getting shadow banned over at YouTube. We know that CommieTube doesn't like guys like me. They want guys that burn American flags, wave rainbow flags, and go along with their leftist Marxist agenda, disarming the American people, censoring us, stifling our speech, and preventing us from getting the message out that the vast majority of Americans don't support their agenda. And they don't like that. And so what they try and do is stifle you to make it appear as though there's a consensus of people out there that don't believe like we do. But we know that that's a lie. So that's why a lot of people stopped giving me super chats on YouTube, and they're going over to Rumble and giving me super chats over there, which is great. I just bought a bunch of stock in Rumble, and although it's quirky and it needs work, I think Patreon and Rumble are basically the only place that we're going to be able to go in order to get the message of freedom and liberty out there. So I'm not going to just give up on YouTube because I've got years worth of friends here. And if anything, we'll use this as a way to try and help people understand the law and how to keep it. Good seeing you, Rami. Hey, Rami, I just found out that Rumble actually allows super chats. So if YouTube demonetizes you or whatever, your friends can still go over there and help Rumble. So in a way, they kind of cut off their hand to spite their face, right? And I got rid of all my Google stock, and I'm only investing in companies that support liberty and freedom. I'm not going to invest in BlackRock or any of these other companies. I'm only going to invest in companies that support liberty and freedom from this point forward. Because why would you want to give your enemy money and help enrich them when they're going to use it to take away your rights politically, right? So, Rami, if you want, feel free to share my links to Rumble and Patreon and Twitter if people want to donate. And if people want to buy my book about how to become a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad, you can go to my description and click on that. It'll take you right to my PayPal link. It's $19.99. I teach you how to become a lawyer in California, as well as several other states with no law degree or undergrad. So it's a really great read. And actually, I think Rami's going to help me create a better artwork for it, stuff like that, because Rami's the man. And by the way, guys, if you guys need any help with AI or you need any help building out your channel, creating really cool thumbnails, Rami's the man. He's a true patriot, and I absolutely adore this guy. He is, in my opinion, one of the biggest patriots on YouTube today. And I'm hoping that all of us can start slowly migrating to a free speech platform, with Rami being the Pied Piper. Him and What's the Matter You and Kinetic Customs. You can take this job and shove it. I ain't working for the commies anymore. All right, so let's get back into this case, Rhode. So probably what's going to happen with the Rhode case which is the ammo law in California, where you have to pass a background check and pay outrageous fees just to buy ammo for your firearms, which is a total violation of the Constitution, by the way, and natural law. That is now being appealed to the full panel at the Ninth Circuit, at the Soviet Socialist Republic of the Ninth Circuit, many lawyers say. So my view is that it will be wrongly decided by the full panel. People will not be able to purchase firearms in California without some kind of draconian tax until it goes to the full Supreme Court. And if illegals are not counted in this next census, the Democrats are going to lose about 50 House seats, which means that we're at least going to have pro-Second Amendment laws for a little while. And it probably means that we'll get rid of people like Ketanji Brown's, who many people say doesn't know the Constitution from a hole in the ground, right? And we'll get some people up there who actually support the Second Amendment and the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. I'm hoping. And at least sort of have a bulwark against this Marxist communist nonsense being pushed by George Soros and Bill Gates and all these other people who we don't support. Right, guys? Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So ultimately, what's going to happen, and this is my prediction with the Rhode case. With the Rhode case, it's going to end up going to the full Supreme Court. It's going to get denied en banc. The injunction is going to be kept in place en banc, which is the full panel at the Democrat-run Ninth Circuit. And then what's going to happen is it's going to go to the Supreme Court. So what do I suggest you do? Because I'm on my way to the gym, don't have a lot of time. What do I suggest you do? Well, I suggest that you become members of the California Rifle and Pistol Association. Even if you live in a free state, I highly recommend that you donate to the California Rifle and Pistol Association and become a member. Because if California is able to get by with this stuff, and their lobbyists and people like Bill Gates and Soros get what they want, it's going to spread to other states. So we have to be vigilant in the communist Marxist run California, and we have to fight tooth and nail to overturn what I believe is going to happen at the full panel en banc at the Ninth Circuit. And you need to be supporting people who support the Second Amendment. And I'm not going to shill or whatever, but look, this is a donations only channel. If you want to support me, you can go over to Rumble and you can give me a super chat over there. If you want to support me and my channel and my kids that I homeschool and support natural law and a lawyer who actually believes in the unalienable rights that were granted to all of us by our Creator, then heck, get on over to Rumble and donate to me over there and support me over there. Buy my book off of freaking doggone PayPal. And even if you're not interested in becoming a lawyer, learn the history of becoming a lawyer without law school. Do I still have comms? Somebody just called me just now. And when that happens, typically I'll lose my comms. Let me try to do quick. Hopefully I got them back if I lost them. Um, in any event, that is pretty much the show for today, guys. I'm going to park and I'll try to answer any questions that you guys do have before I go and train. Really looking forward to hitting the gym. It was my birthday yesterday. Definitely reevaluating a lot of the things going on in my life and how I'm spending so much time trying to do these shows. And it's really hard for me to support my family and come on these streams all the time. And I really only do it for people like Kinetic Customs, What's the Matter You, Rami, Jeff Hates Pigs, SNS Contracting, Pro Se America. Like, you guys have been with me for the long haul, and I appreciate you guys big time. Greetings from Sweden. Yes, good day. Hey, no, I'm a Swede myself by birth. My father was a Swede. My mother was a little bit of Norwegian and German. So, Hado, sorry about the illegal immigration and your country flooding you with criminals from sub-Saharan countries. Hopefully, you'll be able to get them out of your country and return Sweden back to the Vikings. Hado, Hado. So, let me see here, guys. But yeah, you see down there in my ticker the channels that you can join. Definitely join me over there, guys. And let's build a community, a parallel system of freedom loving Americans where we only support other people who support our causes. Let's stop giving money and donating money to people who don't support the way we believe. Hey, what's going on, BZ? How you doing, buddy? So, in any event, does anybody have any questions about the Rhode case before I go hit the gym? If not, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Oh, that's cool. Hey, Irish are cool. I used to live in Motherwell, Scotland, and I'd go over to Ireland a wee bit, man. Fuck's sakes, Jimmy. But I also checked out a little bit of Belfast, and I got a little wee bit of a Belfast accent, man. So, anyways, Pro Se America, I referred you to Alan Beck many times, and if you have any questions about your case, talk to Alan Beck. You've mentioned it pretty much every time you come on the show for the last 6 or 7 months. In any event, I definitely am a supporter of the Second Amendment. Jeff Hates Pigs. Yeah. So, guys, if you have any questions relating to the Second Amendment or anything like that, let me know. And if not, I'm going to go hit the gym. All right, guys. So, doesn't look like anything's coming in. So check out my ticker, guys. Go ahead and join me over at Rumble, Twitter, TikTok, Patreon. And if you want to donate to my channel, go over to Rumble. You can give super chats over there. Not a problem. I recommend that's how you do it, or get a copy of my book if you want to support the channel. With that being said, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Hold on, let me find this. Let me find the off button. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. God bless you guys.